All right. It is Halloween evening. Happy Halloween to all of those of you watching this video, either live, on demand, wherever the case may be. We are just gonna hang out, relax, possibly browse the web, and chat. And this is another test of a solo concept called Trailer Talks. For those of you who don't know, I'm living in a trailer right now, trying to figure out what I'm doing in a lot of ways. Looking for opportunities. Luckily, it's just me. I've had friends who've lived in trailer situations before with kids and everything, and it's just me, a single individual that will be chilling. No other obligations, no family, no kids, no pets. Well, family, but family is at least in a little bit of a distance away. And I'm tossing up a few different opportunities, tossing around a few different opportunities right now. Currently have an opportunity, have a few different 100% commission opportunities. I have streaming, content creating podcast, a few different streams of potential revenue. And so now what I'm doing is just sort of nailing down exactly what I will be doing, I guess, in the beginning of the year. I'm not traveling right now, for a number of reasons, to events, partly financial, partly just my heart's not in it necessarily right now to travel. Uh, there might be something that pops up. I might just happen to pop up at DreamHack Atlanta. I don't know yet. Um, it's something that I have budgeted for, but I don't necessarily want to go and spend that money if I don't necessarily see the direct correlation or direct opportunity happening. I know a lot of my friends and colleagues and acquaintances are on the West Coast right now, or I said the Western states right now, attending esports events. There's a number of them happening. Industry events, of course, like the uh the Dota championship happened in Southeast Asia, and then the the event in for League of Legends in like Atlanta or whatever. Um, and you have your offshoots, your Valorants, and your Call of Duties and whatnot, and all the news that's coming out for those things. But yeah, I'm kind of in a exploratory mood. That's where I'm at. I'm looking for something that's diverse and sort of alternative. I think crypto, metaverse, esports, real estate, and like all this digital stuff it's definitely cutting edge and everything, and virtual reality. So those are potential areas of interest that I kind of want to work toward right now. And and what I've been looking at is a reflection on my education. I talk about this from time to time on the podcast, and having attended the University of Hawaii, and I talked with my friend and colleague Knives Monroe today. When I attended the University of Hawaii, it was a sort of a destination decision. I chose to go to the University of Hawaii because of the beaches, because all that stuff. But I felt an anomaly in a way by looking at the overall uh demographic of the University of Hawaii. You have a number of Eastern cultures like Korea and Japan and China and Southeast Asia, and those areas that go to the University of Hawaii as an option for getting a Western experience, a Western educational experience. But then on the other hand, coming from like a more Western background like that I come from, uh, you don't get that sort of transfer student like myself all that often. So it was much more likely to run into somebody who is from the islands or uh from overseas than it was to actually find somebody who was a transfer student from the mainland or even from a European or African country or something like that. And there's sort of a contrast in that. I went to the University of Colorado Springs, where there's a lot of people transferred from like the Middle East and Africa, and a lot of people who went there from the mainland. Not so many Asian uh, students there when I was going to school there, before I actually graduated the University of Hawaii and finalized my degree. Um, but yeah, that was just sort of a reflection on student life that I was having here today. And then it was also a larger reflection on like the fact that the the larger program that I attended, which was digital cinema through the Academy of Creative Media, is changing in a big way, because while I was attending the um, whether the university calls it new media or online media or uh, digital media, whatever the name that they use to define um, uh, Web 3.5, Web 3.5, Web 2.5, and Web 3, and even Web 3.5 if we want to go there, or even 4 if we get to that level. Um, I think they're getting to the point at which it's more of a realistic space than it was when I attended. Now I have a great foundation of education and history, under historical understanding of who the founding fathers were, as it pertains to this digital space, and who deserves their lays, um, the proverbial lay, the ceremonial lay that you get when you graduate or you do something of accomplishment, or you're making a big change in your life. Like, I know who deserves that award around their neck. I know who that is from a historical standpoint, and like the elders that deserve that. And it's not necessarily the ones that I learned from, even though they were an influence on me. They're not necessarily an influence on the larger diaspora, or like the larger conversation of who were the founding fathers of the internet were. Like, their contributions were more a physical, like a film, come from a film background, a cinema background. And case in point, like people from the US, from USC and NYU, and you know uh other, film institutions. And so now that I guess administration has changed to a level that I think is innovative and um, it has brought on at least some new age change to the program that I attended. I think that the value of film school, which it's no longer film school, don't get it twisted. The value of digital cinema school, or even just if we just call it digital media school, is increasing. The problem is that in the university system, you're not going to have your Logan Pauls, uh, your Neil Patels, your Gary V's, your advanced level digital video marketers, teaching tenured classes at the university. Doesn't matter what university you go to. Yeah, you're gonna get like Spike Lee and and master classes or guest speaking spots from the James Camerons and whatnot, attending NYU or USC or even Full Sail at this point. But when it comes to like getting a true education, the people who are driving the narrative per se, or like setting the tone for what even digital cinema would look like, are not educating our up and coming film students. It's just the truth. It's just a it's a different dilemma than there was when we were talking about physical uh splicing and cutting on in a studio of actual film tape. And maybe that's alleviated by some virtual online classes and whatnot, but I can't necessarily put my thumb on it as to like what is the ultimate value other than a discount potentially that can happen because a university covers the full cost of a master class or something like that, or guest lecturers um attend your university. And so it it inspires someone to wonder what um a master's in fine arts looks like for a digital media doctoral program, and what that encompasses for that student. And that person should have a well-rounded, robust understanding of all forms of digital distribution, including but not limited to virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, and um, live streaming, AVOD, TVOD, SVOD, um, PVOD, and uh, metaverse, Web3. A lot of the things that I'm studying that aren't which, to be honest, at least if we're talking about the collegiate system and the university system, these studies don't um I mean, it doesn't offer me any accolades or recognition or certification or credentialing for having the knowledge that I have about these things. And that's sort of something I've really been struggling with when it comes to my LinkedIn optimization. And, um, and I wanna help a lot of people, with their LinkedIn optimization. So if you're watching the video, you'll see across the bottom is a running URL that you can go to, and you can submit an application for me to, audit, review, and report, on your LinkedIn profile. So you can go to https://www.trentknox.com/LinkedIn optimization. And you fill out that form. I'll take a review of your I'll make a review of your LinkedIn profile. Even if you know what you're doing, send it in because um it'll off it'll give both me and the people that also submit submit the forum um some template or opportunity to improve their profiles as well. And once you've submitted the form, there opens up a door for other opportunities in collaborating with me and potentially coming on to one of the series, either that be business talks with Trent Knox um or even a different series that is on the Trent Knox show, where we'll talk about our segments. I don't know if I call these segments or series, really, to be honest, because ultimately they're all going to be distributed on the Trent Knox show podcast, um, which you can find at anchor.fm/Trent Knox. And yeah, that's where we're at right now. So um, I I'm trying to be more active in creating content as far as like documenting my thought process and um working through the challenges that are facing a lot of us today, including myself. And these these challenges come in the form of like content consumption as well. I want to talk about that a little bit. Um as far as like inspiration for the content that we make as content creators or creative media producers or creative directors or whatever you want to call it, depending upon your situation. You could be, creating content for yourself. You could be creating content for another person, or you could be creating content for a company, or for a company for other companies. Oh, and these are some of the topics that come across the um this just come up in conversation. Let's just say that. And you know, I I've kind of gotten less interested in watching esports, to be honest. Um, I think the esports that I enjoy is definitely in person. I enjoy the uh the theater of it. I enjoy it the same way that I enjoy attending a collegiate football game or enjoy going to a music festival or anything that's in person, to be honest, because there's like an electricity to it. When watching it on TV, I used to watch StarCraft 2, um, and I used to, watch more Call of Duty matches and whatnot. And I never really got real invested into watching it watching it for my favorite team or watching it for my favorite players necessarily, but I watched it, like I said, the same way I'd watch an NFL game or a NASCAR race or basketball. Basketball is, I guess, a more relatable sport because I've never really followed basketball to a high level. But I've watched basketball. And so what's interesting about this conversation is, you know, back in, um, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015 timeframe, I was watching Justin TV, and then I eventually uh, watched Twitch, and in between that, I was watching StarCraft on GOM TV, and, Twitch became the main platform where I watch content for a while. I'd watch, uh, the popular streamers that were on the platform as well as esports tournaments. So from about 2015 to about 2018, you know, that was my, I'd say, preferred platform for content watching. And I say that with like a hesitation because I honestly wish I could compare YouTube to Twitch during that time frame. Like how much more Twitch was I watching than YouTube? And honestly, I'd also like to compare that to how much Call of Duty I was playing because back then I played a lot of Call of Duty, a lot of Madden, and a lot of World of Warcraft. Uh, you know, I think that like, I only had so long from the point at which I graduated college in 2015 that I didn't have till 2016 where I started to like go and try to start a career. And I was lucky enough to kind of have a stable place to live with parents at the time. And but then it got to the point where I felt a little bit like one of those like lazy bum young uh stay at home sons in a way back then. And I I I didn't want to accept the fact that people could place labels on me, um, or say that I have some sort of, you know, dysfunction or disability, because I didn't believe, I don't know how much I still believe that these sort of disabilities or dysfunctions are limitations in that, it's not just finances or situation that are limiting, um, anyone's ability to be more social or more actively involved in society. So, you know, uh, and I also didn't think that being a part of the workforce is a form of social engagement. I feel like that's an obligation for the large majority of people around the globe. And so, like, if you're, yeah, you can have a job, but that doesn't mean you have a life. It means that you have responsibility and that they're accountable to another responsibility in someone else's essentially in the world. And so like uh a good amount of people, an X amount of people, as Elon Musk would say, would be um obligated to go and work for a wage and then take that wage and pay their rent, pay their, utilities and pay for food and transportation, all of this, those different things, and ultimately not really live live a physical life with society. But you know what? People are starting to um people are starting to more widely adopt virtual reality, and with that, they're getting a different form of socialization. And so the reason why I uh, I kind of build up to the topic this way is because my attention has diverted away from um, diverted away from this competitive reality to an ownership reality, um, a commerce reality, a uh, a uh, a purposed reality, and I've looked at I started to more be more interested into the color commentary and IRL chat and travel videos and what have you that are on the platform of Twitch that are like actively um being created in real time. You know, they say in real life, in real time, you know? These are correlated. And even another layer to that is I'm sort of seeing the mixed reality component that you get from like a sushi dragon where you have you have both in real life content, just chatting content, juxtaposed to uh digital reality content and hybridized in a way in which you've got in real time motion graphics overlaying over the top of that uh 2D instance or 3D instance, whatever it may be, of reality. And then if you go full body, if you go full body into virtual reality, you have the components of mixed reality with motion capture and mocap devices to where you're using a 3D avatar and what have you to represent yourself and your digital cyborg. And you know, with Meta's new release of the Meta Quest Pro, you'll you'll begin to you'll you'll begin to blur the lines between our perception of the sense of vision and uh somebody knocking on my door. What's up? Brief break in the broadcast. Gifts, family bearing gifts in a nice, fully packaged Halloween gift. I saw this on the table earlier, and I didn't ask if this was for me or not, but oh man. So yeah, the augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality. Wow. So you know, having that little bit of a time to break and think there is that I can like basically rank the versions of reality that are most interesting to me at this time. So if we're talking about XR, which is experiential reality, that's sort of a component. This XR is a component of physical reality. And so it almost feels digital in nature because the coordination, the production, the marketing component of experiential reality is designed and brought to you by virtual reality. So the people that you meet on social media no matter what platform it is on, or just online media in general, through whatever channel that people are connecting you with you on, then you meet these people for either the first time, or or the, you know, uh like someone that you've a long lost friend or something like that, you're reintroduced to them um in the physical world through experiential reality. And but that's like a high ticket, high high value experience. So this the more accessible reality at this time is uh is virtual reality, and it's that way because it's, almost for the at this point large majority of people in the connected world, uh the fastest way to connect. And that's where it, it's developed for me. Whereas when when I was younger, when I was in high school and in college, um this convergence of sorts was happening in real time, and the physical reality was still a big component of and necessity for people to be able to accomplish the things that they want to do in their lives. So, that's not necessarily the truth anymore. I think that the majority of people can go online and learn whatever they want to learn, get the credentials and the education that they want online. I don't think anyone is I don't think the jury is out on how to increase the value of what you get from offline content to what you get online content wise. I think, you know, it's great if you're a person that is looking for a relationship, a physical relationship, you need to go out and engage with people that you don't know or people that you do know, and build or formulate the relationship that's going to, help you find your mate in life or your mates in life or what have you. And I think, for me, that's something that is uh of an interest to me. I still go out and I still, meet new people, and you meet potential romantic partners, meet potential business partners, meet all different type of relationships through physical reality. But that's also starting to change as well. I've met a lot of, you know um friendships, romantic relationships. I've met business relationships, all online, all through a digital virtual environment. And it also is a lot easier to talk to people online because there's a sort of a disassociation with how people react, people's reactions, and what they have to say um online has like a has like sort of a diminished value in ways that I think is challenging, because then that ultimately becomes like um the increased value that a physical engagement brings to the table. A lot of people who are maybe doing or saying things that they shouldn't be doing based on societal standards can get away with that online, but then when it comes to physical engagements, they could get called out for it, or you know so, you know, face consequences in a physical reality for those belief systems. And that's sort of like what we're seeing with Kanye and at a large scale, and also with Elon on a large scale. um there's not many other controversies out there. And I mean, the other controversy being Andrew Tate. He's seeing the consequences of what he says in a virtual reality, in a physical reality as well, through his people, canceling him online, and canceling him in real life as well. So real life, and a lot of people who are like um virtual reality elitists will say, like, meat world um versus uh versus digital world, or whatever, meat space versus cyberspace. And all interesting. The broadcast that I was watching just actually ended. um so now I'm gonna go over here, and I'm going to change the broadcast to one of the broadcasts that I follow a lot, and that's in the VR chat space, Rafflegator, because he's a great curator. He brings a lot of people together. Um, he has his own controversial belief systems that you know I've seen him ego a lot of people and grief a lot of people on his platform. But I feel like, as a viewer, I have I have a disassociation, or I can just kind of turn off the broadcast and go somewhere else if I'm finding that he's being too, you know egotistical or manic in any way. um I could just leave. And that's actually what's really beneficial about virtual reality versus physical reality. Because if you end up, attending an event or something like the Travis Scott concert that everybody got trampled at, or even the horrific events that happened during Halloween weekend in South Korea, like, there's not much you can do. Like, you suffocate to death, get trampled to death, or whatever the case may be. There's no way of just, like, you know, there's no, like, if you're in it, you're in it, and then that's the situation. There's no real way to turn off the entertainment, or remove yourself if you're in the vortex of the eye of the storm, in a way. You know, the proverbial shitstorm is you're gonna have to wear the right attire before you go out. Like this whole mask situation previously for COVID or whatever. Like, that was your defense, and your way of mitigating any issues that might prevail in a physical reality. And so now it's all about how do you protect yourself in a digital landscape as well. And that's more challenging, given the instant access to content, and instant access to malware, spyware, and all the things that the online medium brings to you. But then again, it's almost like mosquito bites to crocodile um, attacks, or shark attacks, or whatever. In real life, the consequences are far more grave than the consequences of your digital avatar being canceled, or shadow banned, or whatever the case may be. In that regard, hopefully what happens is that the value that you bring to the table in the digital realm is highly intrinsically valuable to the audience and the listenership, and those people who choose to watch. And not everything is going to be polished and perfect, but eventually it will be. Eventually, that if you continue to do it long enough, and you continue to refine your offering, and it gets better and better over time, you you end up having more people buying into your personality, buying into your entertainment, buying into your services, your products, the things that you are distributing in a digital format. A lot of it's trial and error. It's a learning process to get y- um, you know, um, knowledgeable and educated on how to do e-commerce and versus doing like physical commerce. Physical commerce, it's straightforward. You get a brick and mortar, you set up your products and services, and you you get a name around town, and people come to your store, and they become patrons of your store, and they buy your products. Digital landscape, you've got a lot of competition, and it's more global in that regard. So like people are going to expect payment methods, payment rails that allow for foreign um, foreign exchanges, and I work with a great partner on that, to Paul, and facilitating that both in the virtual reality and physical reality. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you can go to Tipalti, TIPALTI .TrentKnox.com, and reach out to them, check it out. I've written a few different blogs with them in regards to the esports and gaming space, but we've also done some other content as it relates to the creator economy, um, Web 3.0, and those types of subject matters as I explore them, as I work with clients in this space, in developing, different Internet of Things. Another example of that would be OTT distribution with a company called Uscreen, which you can go to https://uscreen.TrentKnox.com, and you can check them out. They are an OTT distributor, with everything that's going on with Twitch, and with everything that's going on largely in the creator economy, as far as video distribution, as it pertains to monetization. Um, Having, as a content creator, as a small business owner, uh, as a distribution company, having your own platform that multi distributes to all of the smart devices out there, can really benefit your monetization model, whether that be AVOD, TVOD, SVOD, PVOD, fast, um, subscription based, anything. Yeah, it's all accomplishable by working with Uscreen. Um, and there are other resources that I have available for internet providing. I have resources available for I have resources available that are, uncommissioned, for people who are interested in doing like live on location broadcasts with TV networks. Um, I also work with LiveU, Teradek, and those companies as well. And um, if you're looking for uh, if you're looking for like a more consumer grade things, I implore you to go to walmart.trentknox.com. Walmart, number one retailer around the world. Um, Amazon's pretty close actually. Amazon's pretty close to number one or number two. So it's between Amazon and Walmart. Walmart has more of the physical retail stores around the globe. So yeah, go to walmart.trentknox.com, and and you can see some of the stuff that we've got going on over there, commission based, of course. Um, And yeah, so as we wrap it up, I guess in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to be talking about just basically what it takes to be um what it takes to be a content creator, what it takes uh to get to a point which you're like a freelancer, um and what are some of the things that you should be doing as a content creator, freelancer, consultant, small business owner, entrepreneur, all of these things, all these labels that you can put on yourself as describers of what you do. Um, Descriptive labels. Yes. Um, for me, it definitely comes from a foundation or inspiration of content. You have to be passionate about a particular activity, whether that be video games, horse racing, um, race car driving, um, this is how it goes. Like anything that's a simulation in a video game and you enjoy doing it, by all means, do that in physical reality as a hobby first, as a content creator, just to get your chops up, just as a creator, get your chops up. My foundation started with music. Um, I grew up in Texas, and I was interested in chopped and screwed music. I was working in I was doing an internship in a music studio. They had access or they had access to Logic and DJ equipment and mixers and all of this stuff that I never had access to while I was growing up, and always seemed was interested in a way about DJ consoles and mixers and things, but I never really had the opportunity to explore that space um, for due to like being told like all the time by my family that it wasn't an expense that we could afford. Um, and maybe I didn't, you know, maybe I didn't voice myself um, a as much as I I could have, you know. But I mean, like, I got a gift from when I was like, um, I remember I don't know how old it was actually, but when I was younger, a lot younger, I was gifted a guitar, and I played the guitar for a while, went to lessons and all of that, but I it didn't really become like an instrument that like really translated throughout my life. That must have been like 7th grade, and I carried that guitar with me, like, up until, like, now. I still have it and everything. It's lost. It's an electric, Fender, Squire, entry level kind of electric guitar. Lost the amplifier somewhere along this journey. Um, but yeah, I tried to play the guitar and didn't really vibe with me. Um, so then I kind of, I didn't really have a musical outlet until um 20 2016 when I was working for this studio, and I had a passion for I had a little bit of a passion for video and live streaming already. So but as far as like creating live stream content, uh while I was at that studio was when I was like on SoundCloud, with the other kids and whatnot. And I was an adult by it now, but I mean, like, these kids were like also like 17, 18 years old as well. So they weren't much younger than me. I mean, like 4 years is not a long time, especially in your young when you're your early 20s. So these kids were like really relatable, kids that were doing shows at the local venues and whatnot. And there was like a level of pretension to it as well because it was like there was like more like classical musical mu- classical art classical kids, call them artists, call them musicians, whatever you want, doing like uh traditional instruments like the trumpet and the cello and the piano and those sort of things. Whereas like, I mean, this is case in point, like I'm super digital native. Because like I said, I tried to play the guitar, the electric guitar, which is an analog device, and you can make it digital, but I never really, I don't know, I just didn't ever really vibe with the physical nature of the guitar or anything like that, like I did with like sound in a machine. Like when I started chopping and screwing music, like I grew up listening to because of the distortion and everything that was related to it, and like the messiness and muddiness of chopped and screwed music with which kind of eventually bit me a little bit. But um I just I took it and I took it in a different genre. I took it um towards country music, and I did really well for a while on SoundCloud, publishing these chopped and screwed versions of country music, and then like popular hip hop songs, and then my account got banned because of DMCA. It used to be there used to be so much freedom back then on SoundCloud. It was like free. Everything was free. You could publish there. It was free. You didn't have to pay to listen to music on the platform. Everything was free. That's 2016. That's long gone from those days. And then, but that really inspired me to continue doing streaming. And I took that application of streaming in that music studio to I took that to the actors studio, and I streamed a few different workshops and and whatnot while doing that. And that sort of was a component of my content creation space. It's not well documented. That's what's sort of troubling. Um, because I never was really a big consumer of vlogs. Um, podcast, yes, but like the vlog style, Casey Neistat, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, like this uh scripted, like contrived in a way, like videos. Honestly, even today, I have a hard time like providing examples of like good vlogs. Gary V, I mean, to a degree, is like a pretty good vlogger, like he's creating content that's like business focused and like, that's super interesting. But then like there's sort of a snake oil salesman kind of component to like the Gary V clones and people who are like Gary V in that way. And like the business of it also has kind of jaded me in like a lot of these business influencers on LinkedIn or business influencers on YouTube. They took the whole Gary V's sidekick D Rock, um, and they tarnished it in a way. They kind of like diminished it, because no longer like that the D Rock of the worlds have been solved. That problem has already been solved. People have the skill set and the talent of being a D Rock. They already have that. that business model has been solved. And so when you see these like low level Gary V clones out like say, I'm looking for a D-Rocker, I'm looking for a videographer, I'm looking for a content creator, I'm looking for a TikToker, bro. It's like, and they're like, yeah, I'm looking for someone to volunteer their time with my low level Gary V level to create videos and edit and spend all their time with me and just pay attention to me and just follow me around and man, you're gonna get so much value out of like following me around and being my like pet. You know what I mean, bro? It's like bro culture to a degree, hustle, porn and stuff like that. Like, so there's like this, I don't know, frustrating issue with anyone asking for a videographer to follow them around and not pay them minimum $25 an hour just for video, just for having the camera on. And that's a full-time job, like 40 hours a week. Like these influencers, these business influencers, Gary V clones, they need to be actively doing, you know, doing things in physical reality as well as virtual reality, and then having that videographer be that producer on the back end, because they're literally, there is no way to be a D-Rock for multiple people unless it's like a situation like a Team 10 or like a the Vlog Brothers or whatever. Like you're in the squad, like you're a part of the squad, and the squad is monetized, and you somehow have, you know, equity ownership in the brand, and like the Nelk Boys or Sidemen or Mr. Beast. But you know, I don't know what Mr. Beast's situation is. I don't know how much equity he's given, you know, his crew uh to be a part of the content that he has created with them. Now he has, you know, along the way helped them make a name for themselves, you know, like the other dudes' names, but those dudes' names, uh and yeah, so like there's this avenue of content creation, and along the way I faced a lot of fuck ups. I've 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 made a lot of mistakes, you know, that have tarnished my reputation, I feel like, in um in aspects where I just didn't I don't know, I can't even explain it. Like recently this happened. Recently this happened because, and it was out of the control of the content creators, it was out of my control. It was just it was both the right and the wrong thing to do at the same time. You know, you want to be um you want to be personable, you want to be well liked, and sometimes the thing that will make you most well liked is can diminish uh the creative that you're doing in the long run. You know, and then it's like you can have like a, you know, it's not negative. Like I mean, it depends, you know, it depends how the pendulum swings, but you can, anyone who's in any situation can talk themselves out of, you know, out of being negatively characterized or you know, having shade thrown on their name, uh, or the insinuation of shade being thrown on their name. And sometimes you just don't know what things are being said behind your back about you, you know. And this is a good example of it. I mean, I am currently broadcasting to no viewership on a live stream. And this is a very familiar space to be in. And it's largely due to like the fact that I haven't been around creating content for a while, and now I'm just trying to get this muscle refined again, and get back onto the on track with creating content. And so if we kind of reflect on where this this last 15 minutes has gone, it's been the discussion of how to make it as a content creator, and make it as a content producer, and make it as a creative media director, and make it as make it in these these labels and things like that, and even a technology developer, and an inventor, if you want to be a tech inventor. It takes a lot of trial and error, and there are there are memories in my resume and history of events that lead to where I'm at today that they're dark. There are also really really bright ones. So as far as the lowlights and the highlights, they're all there, and in the Venn diagram of life, some of these things, they cross over, man. They could be good or bad, just depending on how they're character caricatured or presented. That's why I got to carry a lawyer in my back pocket all the time, or a side pocket. That's why we have these digital devices to look up words and figure out what they mean. Are they positive or negative? And in this context, is it this or that? Um, I recently had this discussion, with my family about the word victim, and it's like the word victim has been politically charged to have a connotation associated with movements and groups and ideologies, identity politics, and in the scheme of things, and like the opposite of victim being the aggressor, and that there's like really no middle ground between being a victim and being an aggressor, or even being the threat, or you know um being the assailant versus the victim. And that's so ultimately comes down to like you got to have people in your corner that are willing to throw you under the bus, but also pick up the bus. That are willing to be like, oh man, probably shouldn't have thrown the bus on that dude, but you know we'll pick that bus back up at a later date, and we'll put him through. We'll put that individual through rehabilitation. And since we threw the bus on that dude, man, that dude actually quite you know uh the things that individual has to say, the things that the neuroplasticity of the individual, the ability to change, the ability to um recognize when someone's being jaded, and then take that jadedness and smooth the jadedness out, change the pitch, change the color, change the perspective, and then repackage, redistribute, and sell it as a new product. um yeah, so these are the trials, these are the tests, these are the errors, these are the things. Anywho, as I kind of close on this, because I went a little bit over 5 minutes over, and maybe 10 minutes over, um I just want to say really appreciate everyone who is tuned in and is listening to the podcast and everything like that. And I really want to provide you with some value. So, I really would appreciate it if you did reach out to me on social media. I'm pretty much Trent Knox on all of the things. There are other Trent Knox in the world, but if you're if you're familiar with me in any capacity, I'm sure you'll find me. You'll see my smiling face with the Matrix background and the Esports Business Network hat. And yeah, just DM me, cold DM me, whatever. It didn't matter. I'll try do my best to respond. If you want to have some anonymity or whatever the case may be, just send me an email. Whatever. Like, I don't really doesn't bother me how you reach out to me if you need some help or you want some advice or just want to talk to somebody. Yeah, just reach out to me. Also, if you're like struggling with LinkedIn or your resume or interviews or whatever, I mean, I have failed at more interviews than I count. Uh, uh, I've learned who I am, what I'm looking to do, and what value do I place on my efforts. I know these things to a very good. Um, I know these to a T. Put it that way. Yeah, so you can learn from me and get my feedback by going to go to https:// www.trentknox.com/LinkedIn optimization, all one word, LinkedIn optimization. Um, I'm not sure if there's a link directly on the website. Maybe I should probably put a link on the homepage that you can click on TrentKnox.com so you can go straight there. Other resources, jobs, as far as like the whole gig economy are on there. I could probably, if you were considering being a Twitch streamer or, or any form of content creator, give you some advice as to what you should do and what you shouldn't do. But largely, you already know all those things. Um, it's also not something that I've gotten a lot of success at. I've built a little bit of a following on LinkedIn, based on what I know about the platform, and yeah, so I have more experiential value to give you about LinkedIn because I've been a hustler, somebody who's really grinded to find opportunities as a small business operator, freelancer, independent contractor, what have you. Hitting the forums to find people that are searching for people that are content creators or searching for marketers or what have you, and even as an agency helped find a teams that would facilitate the needs of businesses. Yeah, so I think that's going to be the end of this broadcast. Again, thank you for listening, everything like that. Follow me on all social medias, and we will pick this back up on the next broadcast.